Hi, and welcome back to Presentation Skills. Um, Today's the last week on the person I admire, and so we're going to, this video I hope will be a little shorter because I want to give you more time to actually prepare your presentation. But let's start with Sarnoff's wheel. Do you remember the first sentence? I'm glad to be here. And what was our action? Point to yourself. Next one. Please say it out loud. I'm glad you are here. Point to the audience. Next one. I have something special. I will give it to you. Okay? Now, can I ask you, hi. Okay. I'm going to back this up. Hi. Can you stand up, good presentation, posture, body position, loud voice, say all 4 sentences 3 times. If you need to rewind the video to remember, that's okay, but try to do it without looking at the sentences. And turn off the video while you do it. Okay, could you remember them? If you change the words a little bit, that's okay. But it's the ideas that are important. It's also good to kind of have a pattern. Very often, I start a presentation with, I'm excited to be here, I'm delighted to be here, for a couple of reasons. And it's just my pattern, and it gets me in the right way of thinking, called mindset. Okay, before we start working on your, wrong file. Hi. On your specific presentation, can you look at page 16? The book believes, and I strongly believe this too, that you should use note cards like this, not just regular paper, for 2 reasons. Paper can be really noisy. Note cards are not. Now, note cards are smaller. It's about half the size of a sheet of paper. But you can always use 2, 3, 4 if you need to. And the other reason note cards are better than paper is if I'm using a full sheet of paper and I'm speaking, what happens? You can't see me. You want your audience to be able to see you, especially you want them to be able to see your mouth, because that really helps understanding. And so maybe I should mention, even though right now we're all supposed to be wearing masks, if you ever are giving a presentation face-to-face, you will be more than 2 meters away. And so you don't wear a mask when you're presenting. Because it makes it harder for people to understand you, and then it's hard for them to pay attention. Okay, a couple of hints about note cards. The book says don't write out your presentation. I find for most students that's not realistic. You're presenting in a foreign language. Most people want to write it out. But please remember, spoken English, any language, spoken language is different than written language. Okay? And when you were in junior high and high school, your English teachers were always going for longer sentences. You don't want long sentences. Short, is good. Short, people understand more directly. And you're speaking in a foreign language, and most of your audience are non-native speakers, right? So keep it simple. Short sentences are really good. And what I suggest is, write out what you want to say, and then use a highlighter, this kind of marker, to mark the memory words. And memory words are the key words that will remind you of the main, it reminds you of what you want to say. So in that first sentence on the card is on the right, born in Los Angeles, 1975, I would highlight Los Angeles, 75. Because when I see that, I remember what I want to say. In the next sentence, I'd probably only highlight actors. And the reason you do that is when you are practicing, try to only look at your card about 10% of the time. So I just see actors. Her parents are actors. 7. She was in her first movie when she was 7. Okay, I'm just doing the key words. Okay? All right. Now your task is, please look at the note card tips, and they're in pairs, okay? Use postcard size index cards, use A4 size paper. Which do you think is correct? For all of these sentences, please check one, okay? And then come back and we'll check together. Okay? Postcards versus A4, postcard-sized paper. Oh, now while we're still on lockdown, before you can come to school, don't worry about this. But what I would suggest for when you're practicing, if all you have is A4 paper or B5 notebook paper, fine, just fold it in half. Use cards about this size, and then later when you can come to school, I'll give you note cards and we'll switch to the actual note cards. Okay? Write out the whole presentation. Write only the main points and keywords. The book says write only the main points and keywords. And when I give presentations, I almost never write it out. But I'm usually speaking my mother tongue, right? If you want to write it out, that's totally cool, but highlight the keywords, the memory words. Write complete sentences so you can read easily. Write short phrases as reminders. This goes back to the same thing. I would say write short sentences. Write large so the notes are easy to see. Write small so everything's easy to see on one card. Big enough to see. And some of you, like my handwriting is very, very bad. Okay, it's hard to read. So I always type my notes. Okay, and then I can, type them, print it out, and I just glue, stick noti scout, glue them to the note cards. Actually, there's a way to put your note cards in your computer if you're using PowerPoint, but I'll show you that when we get back to school. Write on both sides of the card. I don't suggest that. Write on one, just this side should be blank. Write in blue and black ink only. Use colored pens to highlight. Use colored pens. Write each section in its paragraph form. Use bullet points. Well, this is part of key. Bullet points are, you often see this in PowerPoint presentations where there are some circles along the side with points by it. They suggest using that. Write a number on each card in the same place. Japanese note cards usually have a little box in the corner for you to write the number. But yeah, number in the same place so that you can easily find, especially if the order gets confused. Okay? All right. Next topic, page 17, eye contact. Before we get into the specifics of a lot of things, eye contact and using your note cards, etc. Look at those 4 pictures at the top. What are the speakers doing wrong? Okay, what I think the first one's supposed to mean is, because notice that long paragraph next to her picture, and after that he began working as a chef in his first show, The Naked Chef, began in 1997. Blah, blah, blah. She's looking at her note card all the time. You don't want to look at your note card too much. You want to practice enough so you really know it, and so most of the time, 90% of the time, you're looking at the audience. Next one, what's I think that's Emma. What's she doing wrong? Sometimes when we're trying to remember, there's a natural tendency to look up, like look at the ceiling. But that looks very unprofessional. Well, if you need time to think, either look at your audience, or sometimes you don't want to look at your audience because that makes you nervous. Look between 2 people. Yeah, if you need time to think. The next one, David looks really unnatural. He's holding it so far away. Yeah? And the next one, that's Andy, is hiding, he's covering his mouth. You don't want to do any of those. Okay, can you, on the next part, match the look at the sentence starters. These are eye contact hints. Okay, match the part in the box with the red heading to the sentence below it. Okay, turn off your video while you work and come back when you're ready. First one is number 6. Don't look at the ceiling or floor when you're thinking. Rather, look at the space between people, right? Next one, 4. Don't move your eyes right to left, right, left too evenly. It's better to look at all sections of the room at random. So what to say, don't do, okay, what I want to talk to you like this is you look like a robot, right? Instead, you look right, and then back, and then the front, and then maybe left, and then back and front, and, look all around. Next is number 1. Look down at your notes a maximum of 10% of the time. It's a little bit what I just did. Did you notice? I looked at my book. Look at your notes a maximum of 10% of the time. So most of the time I'm talking to you, even though I'm saying what it says in my notes. Okay. Number 5, hold the note card at chest level. Okay. So your eyes, you can look down and see it, but you're looking at the audience when you look up. And okay, from your notes, next one, don't read directly from your notes. Instead, briefly look and then look up to speak. Okay? Okay. Here's the next part. I think we can skip the next part, but if you need the practice on note cards, please look at that. Please remember what we talked about. But next we want to go into your preparation. The assignment for next time, this is your first big presentation. You've been doing these little flip grids. We'll do it on Flipgrid, but this is big. It should be at least 3 minutes, somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes, okay, about a person you admire. You will in most cases, have to do research, okay? And you're online, you can access, even though you're at home, you can easily access information, especially if the person is famous, okay? But start on page 18. Do a mind map. So the life story, what happened in the person's life, achievements, what this person did. Oh, I'm sorry. First you start the person I admire. Write the name in the middle. Other information, why I admire him or her. And I've had people, you can do it about anybody that you want, okay? And I've had people do business people and Walt Disney and Helen Keller and just a whole range of people. Anybody you admire. One possibility, somebody who's not famous, is if there was a teacher or a coach or somebody who really inspired you. Now, research will be harder. Maybe if you still know the person, you could email them and ask for more information. But maybe just what you happen to know. But okay, do that, and then make your outline. What are you going to talk? How do you organize it? And the book suggests, and this is a pretty standard. You start out. Remember, an opener. You want a hook, and then what's the basic life story? What are the achievements, and why you admire her? Okay, and then be thinking, adding impact. Okay, make the opener strong. Okay, and the conclusion. What's your signal word in conclusion? Go back and look at the language models, and then make a note card. Okay, even on regular paper if you have to, and practice, practice, practice. And I can't stress that enough. Good presentations are well practiced. I'm sorry. Where am I? Hi. Okay. This time, someone who you respect. Oops, that should be a question mark. Or who is someone you respect? Question mark. Do the research. Make a longer presentation, 3 to 5 minutes, more information, more details, right? And practice. Please do your presentation standing up, okay? You can set your camera, most of you will be filming in your phone, but put it on Flipgrid, right? And stand up so that your audience can see you, okay? And then practice until you're happy with it, record it, and post it. Okay? And I am recording this before school actually starts. So I haven't seen your initial Unipa videos yet. So watch for my email. I will, after I see some of the videos that you're making, then I'll send the instructions. Usually I tell you to watch like 5 of your colleagues. If we were doing it in class, you would see everybody, depending on how many people we have in the class. So I can't tell you yet. Please just watch for my email, and I'll give you the instructions on how to do feedback on the other students' videos. Okay, if you have questions, of course, email me. Thank you. Stay healthy, and goodbye for now.